Hey guys, welcome to another driving test video. So this was a test at Handsworth Driving Test Center on the 17th of May 2024, and the time for this test was 9:07 a.m. in the morning. Sadly, this test was a fail, and unfortunately I don't have the report for the test, so can't really give you specifically what the serious fault was and the minor fault. But let's take a look at the video, and we can pick out what the serious fault on these tests was, and also what other minor faults or things to keep in mind that we can pick out from the video. So yep, stay tuned. Now, if you have watched a lot of my Handsworth test video, you would probably know by now that it is very common to be asked to pull up here, just as you would see the next car in front ahead as well. Now, if you've been told to pull up in a safe place on this road, just as you come out of the test center into Redford Road, remember that this position I wouldn't class as a safe place. One, is too close to this junction, and it is at the point where the road is actually bending, so it's giving the cars passing you less space to be able to pass. Now do it after that junction. That's realistically the safer option, hence why if you watch many other videos, that would normally be the place most people pull up. It's after that driveway on the left or that road on the left. Don't pull up before it. You're too close to the junction. If there was to be any truck or van that needs to turn into that road or that business, it's going to obstruct them. So don't pull up right as close to that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a minor fault for that pulling up there. So avoid that. And coming to the situation here, it is lack of confidence and anxiety that causes hesitations such as this. Because we had a chance to actually pass the bus right after the two cars that are coming now. Now we could have gone, put the signal on, check around if it's safe, drive around the bus and go. Now if that bus is going to be there for another 2 minutes or so, the question would be, how long are you going to stay behind it before you realize it's actually safe to go around the bus? So keep this in mind. If situations like this continues too often, it could eventually become a serious fault. Now, the learners driving at this roundabout was really poor. Now, the lane changing was so last minute, and then the lack of lane discipline. So it's very obvious that this was clearly a serious fault. So as you see here, we went into the right lane last minute, and we actually didn't even maintain that lane. We went back into the left lane and then used the wrong lane to continue into the second exit, bearing in mind that the left lane is only for the first exit. Again, learner makes another last minute lane change at this roundabout, even though luckily there was no vehicle in that right lane, so no one was really affected by that. But that was really not necessary because the two lanes are continuing straight for the second exit anyways. And even if you're not sure of which lane to be in, don't do a last minute lane change. It's better if you miss the exit than do such lane changes, because if the road was busier and there was someone around there, that could easily be a serious fault. So avoid situations like this. And for this situation ahead with the learner driver doing a parallel parking, I would have chosen to park a little bit further behind, about another 1 to 2 car length from where this learner has pulled up. That's too close to that learner driver there, not giving them enough room to actually complete that parallel parking, should in case the learner driver chooses or needs to come further back. Another thing to keep in mind when turning right at the roundabout for third exit is to remember that you need to start spiraling out of the right lane when you get to the exit before yours. So as we get to the second exit here, we kind of took a bit of time before we start coming into the left. And when you do that, you open up a big gap on your left, which eventually can give anyone an opportunity to squeeze in or sneak into that space. And if you're unaware of that, it can become dangerous. So keep this in mind. Don't open up space unnecessarily on your left when you know your exit is coming up. And that bad positioning can also confuse those waiting for you to enter the roundabout, because if they're not sure where you're heading to because of your position, then they would be waiting unless they are sure. Remember that when you are following or passing a cyclist, you should remember to give them enough space, give them adequate space whenever it's possible to do so. And in this situation here, I wouldn't drive this close to the cyclist here. It seems like the driver was quite pressurized to try and pass around the cyclist, that as soon as an opportunity came through, just as the driver passed the last vehicle on the right, he then took a swing around. Give yourself time. Don't be in a rush. Don't pressurize yourself. It is all about the safety. Keep following at a safe distance. When an opportunity comes through, remember, do your mirror checks, signal if it's necessary, and pass around. Now, coming up to the next turn, it seems like the driver was not sure what road to turn into and mistook the entrance of the car park as a road. But then what is not clear is why we are positioned so far to the left if we are actually turning right. Now, you'd see that, but then eventually we are coming to turn right on this road. And right here, the parking was going so well until just towards the end. Now, what would have happened here is when a driver has straightened the wheels too early. So if you notice there, when he took the initial stop, the car wasn't fully straight. It was about 85 to 90% almost straight, but it was at 15% to go. And all we needed to do was keep that steering the same and just roll back a little bit more, and that would have been perfect. But I mean, it was at a very slow speed when we touched that pavement there, as you would have seen. So in most situations like this, the examiner would either give a minor fault for that or not give a fault at all. So that would be depending on your examiner and also what speed you were driving at when you hit that curb. So this is why it is very important when you're doing your parking or your maneuvers, keep your speed to the minimum, so that if anything was to go wrong or if you had to do any adjustments at all, it would not be at a high speed, and that way you can save yourself a serious fault. So this would be it for this test, and they are now heading back to the test center. And if you see here, what seemed to happen is that the learner seemed to have been very anxious towards the beginning, or should I say for the first 15 minutes of the test. Hence why we saw a lot of those last minute and unnecessary lane changes at the roundabout for the first 15 minutes of the test. Now, as we went further into the test, we would notice that a lot of that disappeared and the roundabout were much more better and more consistent. But unfortunately, the deed had already been done in that first 15 minutes. So don't let this be you. Stay calm. The first 10 minutes, I always say, is so important on your test, because by the time you relax later on, you might have done something so serious or so simple that it's become a serious fault, and it's now too late to change it. So stay calm, take deep breath, relax, don't panic. Believe me, the test is not as difficult as you see or as you think. If you look at this, we drove so well towards the end of it, but only if we were able to stay calm enough to do this at the beginning, and this would have been a pass. So keep it in mind, don't be anxious, don't be nervous, stay calm, and you'll be just fine. So I hope you find this video useful. If you find it helpful, don't forget, I would really appreciate a like, a comment below if you've got any questions or suggestions, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button, and you'd be helping me and helping the channel. And this way, if the channel grows, you get more videos, and we get more videos, you get more information and more tips. So I'll see you in the next video, guys. Stay blessed, stay safe on the road. All the best with your driving test. One love, peace.